So I've been thinking about what topic can we talk about today? And there it is. The U.S. Fed Chair Jerome Powell is saying that they are nowhere near pursuing central bank digital currency, CBDCs, and they won't spy on Americans. Now, do you believe that? For real, do you actually believe that they are nowhere near pursuing CBDCs? Because we've already seen reports, news articles come out of them doing test pilots for CBDCs. And then for him to go on and say that they won't spy on Americans. Really? With the intelligence agency that's across the globe, that is one thing that they continually do. And with the advent of technology, mobile devices is even more prevalent now. You can't even go outside your door without a camera taking a snapshot of you or recording you. So for them to say they won't spy on Americans, if you're a high profile individual and you have access to their centralized controlled CBDCs, of course they'll know every transaction that you'll do. It's recorded. It's a digital currency, so it has to be a record somewhere. It's not like fiat monetary cash to where there's no trace. So do you really believe what he's saying when they are nowhere near pursuing CBDCs? See, that's the key word there, pursue. No, we already know that they're in the line of trying to run and create a central bank digital currency. The Federal Reserve Chairman said his agency isn't anywhere close to making any recommendations and wouldn't want any direct connection to retail users' data. Really? Who do they think we are as people, as humans? You don't think they want to know what your CBDCs are going toward, like what you're buying, what you're purchasing, what you're selling? If you use CBDCs, understand that there will be a trail of all of the transactions that you made. I mean, even Bitcoin does it. It's a public ledger. You can see all of the transactions being done on the Bitcoin ledger. So with central bank digital currencies, if it's created under the same protocol as Bitcoin, then yes, they'll be able to see the things that you will do, whether or not you're selling, holding, buying, or whatnot. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell tried to offer assurance in a Senate hearing that a CBDC wouldn't be built in the United States in a way that gave the government an ability to spy on people. So it won't be built in the US, okay, but it doesn't mean that it won't be built somewhere else. See, the internet is a global infrastructure. So even though you may say that, well, I told you that we wasn't going to build it in the United States, and we didn't. We built it in Europe somewhere. Let's say they built it in Germany, okay? But it will still give them the ability to spy on people, or at least to pry in and see, okay, what have you been buying recently? Like, that information is very, very valuable because it allows them to see, okay, what is the population concerned about? What is their worry? Are they in some dire straits because they had to go out and get more loans, or is their credit card statements not being paid, but they're spending money over here? See, Powell said that the Fed isn't close to any digital dollar recommendation. What does that mean? That's open. That's an open statement. Isn't close to any recommendation? Is that what? A month from now? 6 months? A year? 2 years? Like, how long would you state that the Fed isn't close? Because I think they are close. Now, I think they need to implement some type of, mass event to make the population run to CBDCs. I don't know, maybe like a global internet outage to where people can't get access to their banking information, their bank account, and cash is nowhere available. Like something of that sort, to where they'll come in and say, hey, I got your solution. Come over here, sign up, give me this information and you'll get a CBDC wallet. And we'll drop such and such amount of CBDC in your wallet and you can go out and start purchasing today. Even if the Federal Reserve were close to recommending a central bank digital currency in the U.S., Chair Jerome Powell told lawmakers that the Fed has zero interest in a system in which it would have a view into user data. Then why are you trying to create this central bank digital currency? We already know, if you've been in the cryptocurrency space for a while, that these are public ledgers. You can see all of the transaction that has occurred on the blockchain, unless they're going to create a digital currency that is completely private. Now, do I believe it? No, I won't believe that, because they want centralized authority. They want control over their digital currency. So understand, they will have the ability to come in and lock up your account if they feel that you've been using their currency in an illegitimate way, in a criminal way. They will lock your account and you'll be standing there with no access to CBDCs. So again, it may be best to have another access point to where you can still transact in the economy in the event that they do spy on Americans and you wake up one morning and you can't even get your CBDCs. Quote, we're nowhere near recommending or let alone adopting a central bank digital currency in any form. Powell told the Senate Banking Committee in a hearing Thursday on monetary policy, adding that, quote, people don't need to worry about it. Now, for real, do you trust that quote? Do you trust this man telling you that people don't need to worry about it? Apparently, if he's getting probed these questions in a Senate Banking Committee hearing, it's something that they're thinking about. And I don't think him making that quote, that statement that people don't have to worry about it, eased their concerns. If anything, it probably elevated it. He told the lawmakers that if the Fed ever got closer to building a digital dollar, which they are, the banking system would be enlisted to manage people's accounts. Like who? Oh, Chase Bank in America, or Bank of America, or all these other these other central banks across the world. They'll be the one who will have access to all your personal data. And then the Fed, the central banks of the world, will be able to tie in on the back end of these banks to see what you guys have been doing with their money. See, understand, it's not your money, it's theirs. And it's going to be the bank's responsibility to be the custodian of the central bank's digital currency, whereby they will have access to lock or restrict what you're able to do with their currency. See, understand what the gist is. If that were a government account that the government would see, let me start that over, because quote, if that were a government account that the government would see all your transactions, that's just something we would not stand for or do or propose here in the United States, end quote. That's what Powell said. He contrasted the U.S. thinking with China, where the government can track user activity in its digital currency. Republican politicians, including presidential candidate Donald Trump, has been issuing angry admonitions against what they characterize as a federal government intent to launch CBDCs, despite repeated remarks from the U.S. officials that they're doing nothing more than studying the idea as it spreads through other jurisdictions, including Europe and the UK. Trump and others have decried the government's plans for spying on its people's transactions. So again, I don't think people are feeling safe about Jerome Powell and the Fed creating a central bank digital currency. How do you feel about it? Like, from my perspective, I'm not optimistic about it. I don't think that this will be a good thing for the American people if it's going to be a digital currency by a central bank, to which they're going to give these massive conglomerate banking institutions these accounts for them to manage, for you to use. And who's to say that you don't have a voice, that they won't impose some type of fees or penalties on these accounts because you didn't do something? Now he's trying to quell people's animosity about it and their confusion about, okay, what are you guys up to? Because we know that they're just not sitting at these desks, not trying to figure out, okay, where will we be in the next 10 years? Bitcoin is already out. People are already utilizing Bitcoin in transactions. We need to have something to compete against it with. And for them, the answer is CBDCs. Will it be successful? Time will tell. But again, I'm telling you that make sure that you have another option. So I'm telling you, have another option, because if they do pursue and bring these CBDCs, making it mandatory for their citizens to use, have another off-ramp, because that is what cryptocurrency is allowing people to do. It creates other options. So I'm telling you, give me your thoughts. Make sure you maintain the profitability, and as always, trade different.